And we're recording. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us as I host another conversation about self-care. My motivation for these conversations stems from a survey that I completed recently, where over 50% of the women that responded shared that they wanted more self-care in their lives. And what a better way than to sit down with a cup of tea or a coffee and listen to another conversation today with Shannon Kelly.
Hi.
Shannon wakes up consciousness and shakes up the status quo in her work with paradigm-shifting leaders and deep soul divers. She is a personal and executive coach, consultant, psychotherapist, and trainer who is on the faculty of the Coaches Training Institute. Her latest offering is a virtual workshop called Standing in the Shadow of Trump, Inner Work as Sacred Activism. Welcome, Shannon. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Beth. It's great to be here.
Thank you. Are you ready to dive in?
I'm ready. Let's dive.
Awesome. Deep diving.
Deep diving.
What does self-care mean to you?
Oh, gosh. Self-care to me starts with, for me, it's really about making my well-being, be it mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, relational, really having that be a top priority, and making the space and the time to take exquisite care of myself. Yeah.
I love that you use the word exquisite.
Yeah, because each of us is exquisite, and if each one of us doesn't take care of ourselves, then who will, right?
Yeah. Well, and there's just something so magical isn't the word, but it's I don't know, it's majestic. I think as you say, exquisite. It feels like I'm majestic, and I deserve to be pampered in whatever way I need at the time.
Yeah, we all do. And I feel like in some ways we've turned self-care and self-love into selfish, or self-indulgent, or
Yeah.
in actuality, it's really, why not enjoy our lives and take care of ourselves?
Yeah. Well, something that I learn is the more I take care of myself, the more it allows me to have the space to be able to take care of other people.
Amen. So true.
So, yeah. What are your top 3 ways of taking care of yourself?
Oh, gosh. I think what I would say is number 1 is really being in right relationship with myself. So, and I think I've done a lot of personal growth work and self-development work. And I think the first half of my life doing that was about like, there's something wrong with me and there's something I need to fix. And I think that the greatest realization that I've made in my life is that there's actually nothing wrong with me, or anyone really. And that I get to actually instead develop a loving relationship with the person that I am, the flawed human that I am, and to have and cultivate, I would say, self-compassion, patience, a sense of humor, a laugh about my own humanity, and also curiosity around, why do I do what I do, and what's that about, and, what do I want to capitalize on, and what do I want to change? So it's having an inner conversation and an inner dialogue that is kind and supportive versus punitive and hateful, and I think, bar none, that for me is my number 1 self-care tip, is to just sort of work on your inner talk, work on my inner talk. And so, I think there's a lot of ways to do that. I meditate. I try to spend a lot of silent time in nature, and I read a lot and just do a lot of even just catching myself in the moment. I think every day we wake up and there's a series of choices that we make about how we treat ourselves. And every day I forget and I remind myself, and that's, I think it's an ongoing practice. So I'd say that's number 1, the kind of inner work of self. And then I think number 2 for me is fun. for me, fun is connecting with people. It's moving my body in fun ways, going dancing or taking a long walk or doing some yoga and eating some great food and great conversations and laughing, laughing for me. And then I think the third way is, I was thinking about this when we were talking about doing this, and I really indulge, my sensual pleasures. So, smelly candles, one's lit right now, good food and soft and cozy clothing and flowers. I buy myself flowers. I get massages. I'm lucky enough and privileged enough, to be able to do nice things like that for myself. And so I do, and then exercising, moving, eating well, all of those things, but creating beautiful sensory experiences for myself.
I love that.
Very nourishing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love all that you're sharing. And one thing I just wanted to highlight was I loved how you got into the curiosity. And we talk about self-care versus self-indulgence, and that self-indulgence can be that, or the self-care can be that judgmental internal voice that says, oh, you don't deserve that pedicure, or, why are you wasting your time? That's a waste of money, and all of that. And when we're in curiosity, there's no place for judgment.
That's right. And I think that curiosity is really, you're right. It's the antidote to judgment, and it's really the pathway to having an open heart. I mean, with other people, but with self first, and that's, again, I think a right relationship with self and self-love is really, that is self-care.
Yes.
So,
yeah. Well, and tapping into curiosity taps, it connects me to that little girl that I was before I sort of grew up and started taking on all those beliefs that weren't true about me. And so when I can tap into that energy, that's where the fun comes. That's where the play comes, and the unabashedness of just like joy for the sake of doing whatever it is that you're doing. So I love that. And what a beautiful way to take care of yourself.
Yeah. So just have fun and, be free.
Yeah.
The image of the little child within, because little children, I guess they don't really know how to take care. I was going to say little children know how to take care of themselves. And then I'm thinking, it's day after Halloween. I guess little children need some boundaries around taking care of themselves. But what they do know is that, they do know that having fun is a really good way of taking care of themselves.
Yeah. So we're going to flip over to the other side of this and talk about, how do you recognize when you're not taking care of yourself?
Yeah. Oh gosh. I probably get grouchy, out of sorts, and I don't get, knock on wood, I don't get sick a lot, but I do get aches and pains and itchy and just kind of general body unhappiness. And I lose my sense of humor. That's really, for me, a big one. And I stop moving, I get kind of sluggish, and that's how I know I'm really out of balance. Start craving sugar and
And what are some of the ways that you use to recover?
I have a kind of a reset that I do when I'm feeling that way. It always involves long walks, listening to music or listening to something uplifting, and just walking in as much nature as I can find in the city. And, doing yoga, getting back in touch with my body. Sometimes it involves, eating just really simple fruits and vegetables and protein, and for a few days just to kind of hit the reset button, drinking lots of water, so a lot of it's very sleeping a lot, or trying to go to bed early. So, for me, it's like the way back in is often through the physical body, and then once that's in order, the rest of it kind of falls into place. Yeah.
I love the idea of having that reset and finding out what, creating a ritual that, because for everybody it's going to be different. That's right. I love how gentle it sounds for you. And it's just something that it makes me curious, is because I've never really defined, what would my reset be, and as opposed to, okay, well, I have to, like, I have to stop this and I have to start that, instead of just, like, I love that, like, oh, just go for a walk. I live by the ocean. It's not too hard to connect with Mother Nature, and what a beautiful way to recover.
That's a huge, for me, that's so big. It's like, I know when I take my nice long walk around the Charles River, it's sort of, that's my, on those days, I'm taking good care of myself.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, you have the beautiful trees. Were they maple or oak trees in Harvard?
Yeah. Like,
yeah. I can't say that. I would not do that justice. But which is really nice, just to be able to connect with trees and Mother Nature. And I know that you also spend some time in an ashram out in California.
I'm actually going to be going there on Sunday, so
nice.
I'll be there. Yeah, so that's definitely a place that I like to recharge. And I do. Again, I'm blessed and privileged to be able to. To take time off and to go and do things that really restore me. And I'm finding more and more that rather than hectic travel, which I love too, don't get me wrong, I do find myself more drawn to places where I can really just slow down and be in nature and be quiet, and go within.
Yeah.
Really, really talk about a reset, Yeah.
Well, it just, in having another conversation with another girl the other day, it set us both up to turning our phones off at 7:00 at night.
Love that. Now that would be a huge challenge for me, I have to admit.
Well, I just, I can get lost in it and lose time, and really, it's a way that I numb out.
Yeah, me too, sister. I'm with you there. That's definitely a place I go to sleep on myself. It's just way too much technology.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and I just, Seema Soda.
I do.
Yeah. So Seema, about, I don't know, 2 years ago, maybe almost, has a technology-free Sundays.
Oh,
where she has, and I'm not sure if she's actually doing it right now, but it just, I'm not ready to go a whole day, but it really does call to me to really, like, disconnect, because then I'm connecting inward.
That's right.
So,
and that's so hugely important, because we could really spend all of our time not connected inward, just connected virtually.
Well, exactly. And then, we're really not connected. So, yeah. So what is one thing that you would love to share for the sake of someone else who's learning about self-care for themselves?
What comes to mind is just that there's just nothing noble about not taking care of yourself. There's nothing enlightened about not being good to yourself, and there's nothing selfish or self-indulgent or self-absorbed about taking steps to, be kinder to yourself, be in better relationship with yourself, and to treat yourself, like the incredible human being that you are, the gift to humanity that you are.
Thank you. Well, when you say that, what it makes me think of is, if we all treated ourselves in a manner such as that, then just think of how beautiful the world would be.
Amen. We'd all be a lot nicer.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Yes. Yeah. Wouldn't that be amazing? So, Shannon, oh my gosh, thank you so much for sharing with me today. I've loved this. To those that are watching, if you would like to share in this thread, it's going to be on Facebook and Instagram and probably my YouTube channel. I would love to know what your practices are. If anything's stood out for you today in any of these recordings, please share. If you'd love to talk more about your self-care, feel free to send me a message, and I look forward to talking with you soon. Have a great day, and remember to take good care of you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.